Hi, my name is Rich Berman, the owner of Rich's Tennis School. To my right here is Alan Tsuda. To my left, Chad Tsuda, obviously brothers. They're the two head pros that work for me here at Rich's Tennis School. We're going to cover the basic strokes of the game, from beginners to more advanced, the basic footwork of the game, more advanced footwork of the game, some single strategy, some double strategy, and basically everything that we cover when we teach here at the school. Obviously, there'll be things we've missed, but we'll do our best to cover everything. And then towards the end, we'll have 4 of us out here playing doubles and working on the basic positions of doubles. Chad and Alan demonstrating the basic strokes, the split steps, the turns, holding the follow through, and hitting. We haven't discussed yet. When the ball comes to them, they're staring at the ball coming to them, and then after they hit, their eyes dart ahead of the ball to their opponent's racket. They'll vaguely see the ball going to their opponent because the ball is yellow, the ball is moving, but their focus is watching their opponent's racket. And the purpose for doing that is to make sure they time their split steps correctly and they react to the ball a little bit faster. Boom. And split. And split. And split. So his eyes are still, head quiet when he hits the ball, and his eyes dart ahead. And I say his because Chad is doing it on our side closest to us. Alan is doing it on the other side. So when we hear keep your eyes on the ball, that's only about half true. We keep our eyes on the ball coming to us. Then after we hit the ball, we dart our eyes ahead of the ball to our opponent's racket so we know when to time the most important movement in our footwork, which is the split step. So we're starting with the basic forehand. Before we get to that, we should talk about ready position. So Chad now is ready equally for a forehand or a backhand. Forehand to his right, backhand to his left. He's right-handed. His legs are just about shoulder width. Knees are bent. Racket faces towards his left ear, not in front where he might have blind spots. This is what we call basic ready position. Now for the forehand, we need to first find the forehand grip. The way we find that is we put the racket in the belly button, the right hand up on the strings, slides down. That's what we call a basic forehand grip. We need to talk now what is the first move of the forehand or the backhand, which would be what we call a split step, which is Chad jumps up in the air, a little bounce, that's called the split step. A ready position makes a split step and steps out. That's the first move of tennis. He has his left hand on the racket, the face is slightly closed. Now, after that, Chad will step in with his left foot, make a little circle, hits, and extends and holds his follow through. Makes his first move, steps out and turns. As he makes a circle with his arms, he steps in and finishes. And ready position again. Makes a split step, turns, and hits. And even if Chad is running full speed, he'll still be on balance. In other sports, we call it make sure your legs are underneath you when you're hitting the ball. Splits, steps out, drops, and hits. Splits, steps out, makes his little circle, and hits. Some of the kids, we say, when he begins, the racket goes up the mountain, drops down the valley, back up the mountain. As you can see, Chad is using the big muscles of his arm, and his hips and shoulders rotate as he's hitting. The last thing to notice, it's very important when Chad hits the ball, his head is still. There's no peeking. Now we're going to do the two-handed forehand. Basically, it's just two belly button grips. Both hands, left hand touching. Ready position, his feet are nice and wide. The racket faces towards his left ear. He'll make a split step. He steps out, and he makes a circle, and he swings. Basically the same as the one-handed forehand. Obviously the difference is he keeps his left hand on. Splits, steps out, his turn, drops, and hits. All right, now we'll watch Chad hit a couple forehands. Split, turns and steps out, hits and holds. Still keeps his head still and quiet, and then gets ready. That's the basic two-handed forehand. This is Alan Tsuda. He's in ready position. Same ready position. We're going to do backhands now, the basic two-handed backhand, the basic one-handed backhand. His feet are wider than his shoulders. Knees are bent, racket faces towards the left shoulder. We'll start with the two-handed backhand. He makes a split, and as he turns, he changes his grip. It's roughly a quarter turn counterclockwise. You could see his knuckles. Splits, he steps out with the left foot this time, turns his shoulders with the grip change, steps in, drops, a little circle, and hits and hold. Again, he's looking over his arm. He's on balance. He's ready for the next shot as he splits. Splits, steps out, changes the grip as he turns, drops and hits. And we'll do it one more time. Split step. Step out, make your little grip change and circle, steps in, and follows through.
Okay.
Okay, again, very important. It'd be very simple for Alan to use his wrists to get to the ball. It's more expedient to use the wrist than it is the arms and the body. But go ahead again, split step, use your wrist. This is the sort of thing we see all the time. And it's very, very, very difficult or impossible to become a consistent tennis player by doing that. Splits, steps out correctly, and hits the ball. Just like on the forehand, the head's going to be still as the racket's swinging past his eyes. Split, steps out, hits, and holds. As he turns to get ready, that's when he makes his grip change. He changes his right hand as the left hand guides him back. Left hand guides back, the right hand changes, hits, and holds. Okay, Alan's going to demonstrate the basic one-handed backhand. Starts in ready position. His left hand now is a little bit higher. He has a belly button grip, as we talked about before. After he splits and makes a step out, his left arm guides the racket back. His right hand changes the grip, so he has at least 3 knuckles on top of the racket, right here. The face is slightly open. If the racket was in this position, the wrist would be mechanically weak. Alan would be far more likely to let the wrist flick. So this is a mechanically strong position. Now, he steps forward, makes his little circle, and hits, and he holds. On the one-handed backhand, we don't use belly button. We just stay sideways, or as they say in Australia, side on. Split, change the grip, side on when he hits. So Alan's going to demonstrate the basic one-handed backhand splits, makes the grip change as he steps out, swings, and stays sideways. Please notice when Alan hits the basic backhand, his left hand stays behind him. Maybe you can wave your left hand, Alan. Wave it. There you go. There is no belly button on the one-handed backhand. His head stays still, just like on the forehand. And if you could zoom in, please, on his hand, he makes his grip change with his right hand. This time, Alan, would you move your fingers so they could see your right hand as you turn? I know that's difficult to do, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, split, step out and turn. Split, step out, left hand's back. Good. So this is Chad Tsuda. He's going to demonstrate the basic serve. You may want to stand a little bit over. Basic serve, gets his belly button grip. The fingers extended a little bit right here. Okay, he's in ready position to serve. He's a little bit sideways. His weight is on the back foot, and the racket's pointing to the court he's serving to. And he's going to drop both arms down, both arms go up, continues out, and touches his left leg on the follow-through. Especially on the serve, that we hold the grip as if we're holding a feather. I should be able to, with one finger, pull this racket out of Chad's hand. And even when we hit forehands and backhands, and volleys, everything, we never want to squeeze the grip. So things that are important to notice. Number one, his weight's on his back foot. Many players trigger that by lifting their front toe. His arms drop down, hits the ball on balance, and he's hitting the ball roughly over his head. He's not reaching forward and hitting off balance. Arms go down together, up, hits, follows through. Just like on the forehand and backhand, when he's making contact, his eyes are up, his head is still, and then he gets ready in his split step position again. So one last thing to mention, when Chad is serving, I'd like you to watch his back toe. As he begins his follow through, this back toe turns towards the court, or the heel of his shoe will be facing me directly behind him. Toss, turn, and hits. So what we're going to demonstrate now are 3 drills to help one learn how to do the basic serve. Again, belly button grip with the finger a little bit extended. Ready position to serve with the weight on my back foot. The racket's pointing to the court I'm going to. That's your ready position to serve. Now, we're going to modify this just a little bit. We're going to face the court and imagine a little kid, about 2 or 3 years old, saying bye-bye. We get our grip, racket's in a bye-bye position, we toss the ball and just go bye-bye. And as I'm doing that, I'm actually hitting a little bit across the ball. So this is the basic bye-bye serve. From there, we're going to go bye-bye, add the follow through, and touch, bye-bye, and touch. When that works, we're going to be in a ready position to serve, drop the racket past my toes, up the bye-bye, hit, and follow through down to my leg. Drop the racket past my toes, up the bye-bye, hit, and follow through. I'm on balance, which means I'm not stepping. For example, this would be off balance. This would be off balance. So I try very hard to serve on balance, down together, up together, and hit the ball. Return a serve. This is probably the most important part of the game below the pro level. It's important to realize a few things about the return of serve. One, the server gets 2 tries. Receiver only gets 1. Secondly, the server gets to start in the middle of the court. We're presuming singles right now. The receiver, if we glance over to Alan, he actually has to start near the alley. So I'm in the middle of the court, he's off the court. Off the court in tennis is a term which means away from the center. It doesn't literally mean that he's in the parking lot. The next thing is, instead of watching my racket on this side of the court, as he does with every other part of the game, he's going to watch the ball in my hand. He's going to watch the ball go up, and when the ball reaches about the height where he knows I'm going to hit, Alan will make his split step. So we're going to watch Alan for a little while because there are a few things he's going to be doing. Number one, he needs a routine. So Alan has a routine to relax. He shifts his weight from right to left. And just before I hit the ball, he takes a step in and splits. Some people will just do a little waggle to relax and split step right where they are. When does Alan split step? Right before he senses I'm going to hit, he makes his split. So let's see how that works. So Alan's doing his routine. He's watching the ball. When he sees it up in the air, he knows that's where I'm going to hit, and he tracks it from there. Notice he makes a split step almost exactly at the instant you hear the ball hit my racket. Meaning his feet are landing when you hear the hit. The next thing is he's allowing the ball to bounce to him. Once he makes the split step, the ball bounces to him. If he knows my serve is weak, he might take a step in and split, but after the split, he still will allow the ball to bounce to him. It's a very common mistake to think you're supposed to lean in as you're hitting the ball, and that puts you off balance. And you're so far in the court, you won't be ready for the next one. Okay, Alan's exaggerating a little bit, but good for you. So again, let's review the basics. We haven't talked about the footwork yet. He's on balance. Alan has a routine, which everyone needs to have. He relaxes. He makes a split step, allows the ball to come to him. He's going to avoid crossing his feet. Because once he does that, he's off balance and he'll be late recovering. This is incorrect. This is correct. Either steps out and hits, does a little side step out of the way, or a side step to his right to hit the ball. Now, if he has to, he will take an additional step if the ball is really wide. But he doesn't begin by crossing. On the backhand side, he makes a split. He does a pivot step with his left foot, steps out, so he can hit the ball in front and be on balance. So what we're going to do now is talk about the basic forehand volley. Ready position, like on the other strokes, belly button grip. You can extend your finger just a little bit. Feet, shoulder width are a little bit wider. The racket is facing towards my left ear. This would be for a one-handed backhand volley. This will be for a two-handed backhand volley. Only difference is sliding my hand down for the one, for the two. Ready position. This is ready position for a one-handed backhand. For the two-handed backhand volley, I just slide my hand down. So again, one-handed backhand volley, two-handed backhand volley. As far as the forehand volley, we usually just hit one hand. Sometimes we hit two, and we hit. The biggest difference between the volley and the ground stroke is a volley, we just make a subtle shoulder turn, and wherever the racket ends up, which should be about in this position, 45 degrees, the pitch of the racket is open, we're done. So I split step, step out, notice the position of the arrow is facing over the net. If I just subtly turn my racket face, arrow's now facing into the net, and the ball will go into the net if I hit it. Ready position, arrow's facing over, so from this position, I can hit a low ball up and over the net. I can hit a medium ball, which is chest high, over the net. I can hit a high ball, which typically is head high or above, and continue forward and hit over the net. Low ball, medium ball, high ball. Big mistake that's made on volleys is after the split step is a step across. By stepping across, I'm off balance. My racket comes way behind me. It's difficult to see and hit the ball. Ready position, by stepping out, I'm forward, I could see everything, I'm on balance. I step again with my left foot and hit. Sometimes I need more than one step. I go like this. Sometimes I need several. Still the same. Ready position, split step, step out. Notice the position of the racket. The racket's roughly 45 degrees to the ground. The pitch of the racket is open. It's not flat. Forehand volley, basic one-handed volley, split steps, steps out with his right foot, follows through. Notice the angle of the racket. You can see the strings, which means the pitch of the racket is open, so Chad could hit the ball, whether it's high, low, the racket is always facing over the net. So now we're going to demonstrate the basic two-handed volley. Alan's in ready position. His feet are wider than his shoulders. The racket faces the left ear, which is our basic ready position. Because it's a two-handed volley, the two hands are touching each other. They could be slightly apart, either way. Basically, two belly button grips. He's going to split step, step out with the left foot, step with his right foot forward, and now he's in a volley position. The racket face is slightly open. The arrow would be facing over the net, and he hits down and rotates out. Let's try that again. Ready position, split, step out, step, and hit. So he makes a left foot and then a right foot step. Your basic two-handed volley. Splits, steps with the left foot, steps forward with the right, steps and over. Okay, notice that the racket head is slightly up. The face of the racket is towards the court, so we can hit a low ball or a medium ball, chest high, or a high ball, head high, all from the same position. Splits, it'll turn and go. Okay, we're in ready position. Ready positions this way. You're a little nervous, aren't you?
You said forehand.
Ready position is here. This is my wife, Ellie. Mwah. Okay, I had to bribe her with dinner to get her out here. She's going to demonstrate the two-handed forehand volley and the two-handed backhand volley. Here we go. Ready, position. Forehand volley coming. Splits. Steps out and follows through. Split step. Steps out. Here we go. Right foot, left foot. And again, right foot, left foot. Ooh, cut that one close. Okay, basic two-handed backhand volley like we've seen before. Ready, position, split. Step out and step forward. Follow through. That's it. Finish looking over your arm. That's it. Split. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate the basic one-handed volley. I'm in ready position. My feet are wider than my shoulders. I have my belly button grip, finger extended a little bit. Now, I make my split step. As I turn my shoulders, I tilt the racket head back, and my grip can change just a little bit counterclockwise, like this. That's a very important angle. If my racket is vertical, the ball comes, my racket will flip. I won't have any control. So as you could see, the bottom cap of the racket, which is missing, but it's towards you, the hole in the bottom of the racket. After I pivot, I step out, and just like the backhand ground stroke, I stay sideways. Split, step with the left, step with the right, and hit. As I'm doing this, I'm not going to allow my wrist to flip. I'm going to use my arm. You can see the pitch of the racket is facing up. I can hit a low ball, a medium ball, or the high ball, all from the same first move, called a preset. So here we go. Make my split step. I see it's coming to my backhand. Lay the racket back, little grip change, and I hit. Split step, lay the racket back, and I hit. Split, step out, and hit. Always with a little follow through. I am not punching the ball, jabbing at the ball. I'm just making a miniature stroke. The basic one-handed backhand volley. Chad Tsuda doing the basic one-handed volley. Splits, steps out, follows through with the right arm. He's in a mechanically strong position. This would be a mechanically weak position. Very common. That's a strong position. Now another weak one. And a strong one. Split steps. Steps out with the left foot. In with the right foot. Left arm goes back. Okay, we're going to demonstrate the overhead smash, part of the basic strokes. Chad Tsuda is helping me out on the other side of the court. And this is what it looks like. Typically, one is up near the net. The ball comes high. And it's a type of shot that is a put away. Meaning, after he hits it, he hopes it's not coming back. It's called an overhead smash for a reason. The ball should be over our head. So he uses his legs to get under the ball so it's right above his head. Let's notice how he does that. He'll step back with his right foot. The racket goes straight up. His arm goes up as if he's going to catch it, and then he moves around to get under it. An important drill to practice would be just catching the ball. So Chad steps back with his right foot, continues running naturally, and catches. Now there is another technique that's often encouraged that I personally prefer not to use and teach, which is just sidestepping. So if you watch Chad, look at his feet. This is a sidestep, which I would encourage you not to do, because that only works if the ball is directly over you. We're going to work on the half volley. Alan Tsuda is on the other side of the court. He'll be demonstrating. It's called a half volley, not a half ground stroke. And let's see what we mean by this. Zoom over to Alan. This would be the half ground stroke. And often when people are ready for a half volley, that's what they do. Now, Alan is going to hit a correct half volley. Just drops his racket down and he goes up. 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 That's the half volley. Now often what people do as a mistake, as well as too big a backswing, is they break their wrist and they hit straight ahead. This way we can't control the ball and it goes into the net. So a teaching technique would be, great practice technique as well, is touch your right hand to your left ear. I said that wrong. Right hand, right ear. So you get in the habit of going up. Right hand, right ear. Now when that's comfortable, you go up to ready position. Up to ready position. Up and out. Up and out. Great. We're going to demonstrate now the two-handed half volley.